Have you ever heard why the murder rate is so high in the United States? Experts say that the consequence, like the death penalty, is not severe enough to prevent a serious crime. Death penalty alone isn't enough to prevent a murder. People say that death alone isn't a severe enough consequence to prevent them from doing a crime. Today I will tell you why the death penalty should be changed, and if you listen very carefully, I will tell you how you can change the execution law. Death penalty has no effect on the Americans. Statistics state that since the death penalty has been changed from electrocution, hanging, and beating, the murder rate has risen and then plateaued. It has risen 55% according to deathpenaltyinfo.org. Lethal injection is not the solution for lowering murder rates. The United States needs to come up with something very fast. Do you know how China deals with murders? Well, just to give you a little bit of background information. Stealing, you get your hand chopped off. If you drug deal, you get shot in the head. And if you murder, you can have anything from beating, electrocution, or torture. The U.S. murder rate is 37% higher, and experts say it's because the death penalty is not harsh enough to prevent a crime. The reason why China's murder rate is lower is because of the harsher death penalty. A new death penalty would bring a lower amount of severe crimes to the United States. If a killer knew of a brutal consequence such as the death penalty, they would be 54% less apt to commit that crime, according to statisticbrain.com. Let me ask you this question. Would you rather be beaten to death, or would you rather be killed painlessly? Most people would be affected by the harsher punishment than not. People avoid committing crime if there was a more brutal death penalty. Wouldn't you hate to have a loved one beaten to death and tortured for the last moments of their life? Which then you know that their killer gets a painless injection, they feel no pain. So does that mean it's okay for someone to suffer their last moments, but then the killer dies pain-free and suffer-free? Families in the United States are still finding bits and pieces of what could have been their loved one's final moments. The culprit still continues to live, or they died pain-free. Some people say the death penalty is cruel and unworthy. It is not the humane way of justice. So basically what they're saying is that it's okay for someone to beat someone to death, for instance with a crowbar, but then it's not okay to kill the killer with crowbar. That's unfair, and people agree, according to yahoovoices.com. It should be an eye for an eye, is what most people say. The victim dies for no reason, and the killer dies for a cause. People say life without parole is a more humane way of dealing with things. That's saying it's fine to kill someone, but it's wrong for the murderer to be executed. That means the culprit will never be punished, according to balancedpolitics.org. They say that the death penalty not given to a murderer is unfair. Life without parole is tax dollars being spent on a murderer who sits in a cell 23 of the 24 hours in a day. That could go towards schools and other places from the government. In conclusion, the death penalty needs to be changed. If the death penalty was more brutal, it would lower the murder rates and a number of severe crimes nationally. Also, victims' families would be more at rest. Death penalty isn't an inhumane way of legislation. It is a fair and equal punishment. Tax money wouldn't be wasted on someone who will never have a life. So the next time you hear about a murder in your area, think that the death penalty could have changed the outcome.